This one was my experience. I was sitting down, I was singing the NUUU a little bit, and all of a sudden, my forehead area, in the physical sense, I was getting this sensation of buzzing. It was really tingling, really, really tingling. It almost made me kind of want to like giggle. It was just kind of like concentrated right in the center of my forehead. And it kind of reminded me of like when your phone rings and you're getting a phone call, it kind of buzzes, it'll go bzz, bzz, kind of something like that. And so, anyway, so this is going on. And then so I put my attention on it. I see, okay, well, I want to see what's going on here, and not just, okay, there it is. And I wanted to see, okay, what is the cause of this? And so I'm singing the NUUU, and it's like I stepped through a portal. And again, I have my eyes closed because it kind of helped me focus a little bit. And so it's like I stepped through a portal. It's shaped like the portal that I stepped through is shaped like a almost like how a football is shaped, kind of that pointed ellipse on both sides. Yeah, that's basically what it looked like. It kind of looked like a football. Well, anyways, I stepped through that, and all of a sudden, it's like I'm on a roller coaster ride, and I'm going all these different places and whatever. But that didn't seem to be what was the cause of the buzzing sensation or like the phone call sensation. So I kind of had to really center and be indifferent to all the phenomena because I could see it was trying to take me for a ride. That kind of like that saying, "Take me for a ride" or "Take you for a ride." And so, anyways, after I centered and I put the attention on the phone call sensation, and I tried to center myself and be indifferent to all of that, all of a sudden I was in somewhere else. I was on this spaceship, and there was this observation deck overlooking the Earth, and there was this man, this commander general. Now, this commander general, he looked like one of the alien species from the game Halo. Sometimes I get these little experiences where it references that. But essentially, the idea of his character was that he was one of the generals, again, for the kind of like the little naughty guys, again, he was the general of the army, and so they wanted to destroy Earth in the game. But here in this experience, seeing who he is, seeing his kind of position, his status, he was actually not wanting to do any of that. He was curious about what we were doing. He didn't want to destroy the Earth. He was there, I'm sure, sent to Earth to observe and maybe even formulate an attack plan. But he kind of called me in, and he was standing there kind of, with his arm around his waist and kind of the other arm resting on the back of the hand with his with kind of the other back of his hand underneath his chin, kind of looked like he was thinking, he's looking out at the Earth. And he's sitting there thinking, and then again, I come into the scene and I see him standing there, and I see the Earth and I see the spaceship. It's kind of got this kind of like a purple glow on the inside, and then it's just very kind of neat, very clean looking. Well, anyways, I come in and we start talking, and he starts asking me about what are we doing and things like that, and he actually wants to help. And it's interesting because to the personal self, it was shocking, but when I was there, it seemed to make it wasn't shocking. It made sense, of course, because, they see what we're doing and he wants to get involved. But I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, here's this, or I was shocked in the personal sense that, wow, here's this general, this general for one of the Dark Forces little armies or one of the controlling factors, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. He doesn't want to be a part of the destruction anymore. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So getting his agreement and seeing if he wants to do something. So yeah, there's that.
No, that's terrific. So again, you're provided with this, Jeremy, and again, just like you said, a phone call. They're calling you. You see. They're calling you and saying, hey, can you wake up and come along and do this? Help us out. And the football, doesn't that look like an eye? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it does. So you went through the eye, and so that's the idea right there. So where did the ringing come from? It came from Rizar Paul. You're not going to find it. The thing is that you, again, You're being allowed to have these experiences. See, it's not that, oh, I'm having these experiences. No, you're being allowed to have them. That's real. That's where the privilege comes in. Because again, if they don't trust you, you don't get the experience. That's real. So there's your intent, there's your sincerity. Can you build from that and see that? And so here it is showing up. Yes, they see what we're doing. So again, be ready. And again, Rebazar's experience, Ramon's experience. Is he paying attention? Is his intent there? Where's its intent? See, and that's where you're lost, when you don't identify your intent. And that's very, very real. Look at the intent in Rebazar and the guides, etc. Try to see their intent. And do you want that same intent, or do you want your idea of things? You see, that's the personal self, the self-will. People think, oh, I want this, I want that, I want freedom, I want my free will. It ruins you every time because you don't see what all life is. Until you align yourself and are willing to be as life is, then you will struggle with your free will. It is worthless, but it only has value when you allow yourself to be as all life is. Now you want to learn to see the difference. It's very, very important. And that's the new view, and that's what we do. So as we go along here, there will be people that will be frustrated, and they will go because they don't want to give up their free will, okay, as to what all life is. And it's like the sun shining. That is the best example. You become like the sun shining. You don't need your will. You don't need your imagination. You don't need to be creative because it will be automatic. You will just be doing it. You will know what to do every moment. That's the isness life is. And everybody is in the right, in their right spot because it's all here now here with your awareness. Not when you look around and see creation. That is something we invented. We created out of nothing. You see? So again, it's constantly using the comparisons, but we need creation. We need the bodies to have the experience, to have that comparison. That's the difference. So again, like you were saying before, thinking inside the box and outside the box, there's really no such thing. There's thinking and there's awareness. And you decide to see the difference. That's all. That's the new view. So you can have a new view at any time. This is what's so cool about it. So again, there's the verification. So that's what I look for too. I'm confronting the world governments. Finally, I've got a connection again to the richest family in the world, the ancient Chinese. I'm not going to go over that right now. But again, I have a connection with them, and I have documented agreements on the real side with them from years ago. They stepped up and they were afraid. So I created document agreements when Claudia and Sandy here with many of them, with many of the aliens, etc. You know, because this is a documented agreement world. So I utilize the things accordingly. I decided to do it. And he showed me that's a hard nut to crack. Well, I'm doing it. Till death do me part, whatever. That's it. There's no life here. There's absolutely no life here at all. It is in your awareness, and we're moving through an imagination that's been created out of nothing. And it's all okay. It's not about bad or good. It's about, you know, becoming more aware. And the best part is, like the sun shining on all, is to help others become aware. That's the reality of life. That's the heart of yourself, your heart of your being. And just like the is, it's a continuation. It's awesome. It's more so than we can understand. But in the meantime, we go in steps. You have to be real with that. Baby steps, just like a child has to grow up into this world. Baby steps, takes many years. You know, many new moments, many new moments. And so again, but what carries you through is, are you sincere? Are you 100% sincere and have your intent with this, no matter what? That's what it takes. But you still have to learn to see it and decide to be it. That's what's so cool about it. That's what's so unique. That's why I created group after group after group, because they became saturated. Just like when Paul created Eckankar, it all became saturated. And look at the experience Ramon has showing him. It's all evilly saturated and deceived. These people are struggling to survive, and they don't know what's going on. The Ekkas think that, oh, they're gods or this or that. They have references that they think are absolutes. And they're really nothing, because they have to learn to see through it. I told Claudia and Sandy this too, and they were really good seers, but they didn't see it. Yeah. And so constantly trying. So I constantly, and Rebazar, he knows, he's giving people, anybody that has experiences, and a lot of people wonder why they don't. It's because they're not ready. They're not ready to take on, to, have, you might say, the responsibility to step out there. Just like in the military, you don't just become the general overnight, just because you know the program and the base and and all these things and whatever, because you have the books and you read them. You don't just become the general. That takes a lot of particular experience besides just knowing what's going on intellectually, etc. Yeah. And just because a person goes into education and gets degrees and everything, what does that mean? He's just memorized all that stuff. It doesn't make him anything. It's when he goes out, when the person goes out, he or she goes out and does something because of that. That's where it becomes a reality for them, not the schooling. That was just part of the process. And so we're going through the big process here, which is creation, and trying to show people that there's something else besides just creation, but they get locked into it because it becomes a comfort zone. So in many different ways, that's why I like sharing, creating the new groups on Facebook, etc., because it's a stamp, it's a document, it's out there. And we have the real references, but they're just references, but they're very much needed. Yes. Yeah. And this is where eventually people collect the knowledge of what I presented, and they think, well, I already know this, so I don't need you anymore. Well, it's not a matter of needing me. It's your attitude. And the thing is that you never saw that, no, it's more than what I'm presenting. I'm just a presenter. New management. I'm just managing what I've created. And Paul too, he did that. And at a certain point, right before Paul left, he said, I've basically reached everybody I could. In other words, can only do so much, because Paul went to the real side to help me here. And so again, that was the bigger picture coming up. And so to let that go, because it has become a distraction. Eckankar has become a distraction, and they knew this. And Paul said, well, Eckankar will be around several hundred years. Well, that doesn't mean it's a good thing, but it will be here, just like Scientology and the Cabal and whatever. Yeah, it'll still be here, but it doesn't mean it's a good thing. So again, we're trying to do something very, very real here, very, very sincere. And that's what's so cool about it. And so who has the courage to step up and be sincere? Yeah, be a sincere. Yeah, exceptional. And that's why I changed the words, because the old stuff, sincere, it's got the word sin in it. And demonstration, it's got the word demon in it. You see, look at the subliminals. But we do use those at times. But that's why I've created the new language, for people to have a better reference and to see more. But again, that step is for them to decide how to see more, you see. And as you went through the experience, Jeremy, you decided, you see. They called you up, and it's like, just like Mission Impossible. Hey, Mr. Phelps, you want to go on this mission? Okay, see? You said okay. So again, it's a privilege, and people take it for granted. You should never take it for granted. Just like Paul said, nothing is taken for granted, because it's a privilege of awareness and humility. Yeah. Unfortunately, many people become the know-it-alls, and that's not the idea. That's in schooling. They can be the know-it-alls. They can be the smart guys with all the awards and the diplomas and the athletic abilities and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But it's all about awareness. We have the real connection. So utilize it sincerely for what it is. Yes, it is precious. That's what I see is precious. So again, those who you know and whatever, that's the idea. They're getting the call too. Are they getting it yet? Well, sometimes they need help. We all do, and you don't do it overnight because it's a lot to let go. And me too. I'm going through it too. I'm going through my process, and I see it. I see the things with myself that I have to deal with, and I'm just very real with it. So much appreciated that you step up, because your sharing with others is very, very important, and try to get this across to people. And many times when they're told, don't share your experiences or whatever, that's what they're told in ECMACAR. It's like, will you take the risk and do it? Claudia and Sandy were told eventually, because Revizar saw they wouldn't come to Mexico. So he told them, don't go. And I told Claudia, I said, would you take the risk and just go anyhow? What do you think? He's going to beat you up? No, they want to see if you'll take the risk. But you know what? You didn't. You didn't take the risk. They're not telling you yes or no. They want to see if you'll take the risk. You don't sit around and wait for them to tell you. That's what Claudia told me. Well, I'm waiting for Revizar to tell me what to do. That's not the idea. You're thinking you're in the military and the sergeant's going to tell you what to do. It's kind of like the sergeant comes into the bunk room and says, hey, stupid, you're still laying on your bed? Get up and do something. Well, Sarge, I've been waiting for you here to tell me that. Hey, you haven't figured that out yet? We are the doers. It's in the doing. It's not in the thinking. And it's like, oh, I want this and I want that. And oh, I want to be a guide and I want to go. That's what Albert wanted, Count Albert. Oh, I want to go to the 7th level. Well, he didn't quite make it. He went to some strange place with his ancestors, grandpa and grandma, some dark area, because that's all he knew. He thought he was Mr. Wonderful because he was with the ancient Chinese family, the richest family in the world. He ended up with nothing. But he still thinks that, oh, it's something, but it's nothing. And there was Revizar there for him. I saw him take him off as an example. All these examples. And I constantly learn from these examples. I constantly look at what I've been through and to better define it so people have a chance to wake up. But they got to take the risk. Without that, you got nothing. You got to take the risk. So again, you got the call. You did it. That's where it is. And so I'm facing the world governments here. They know who I am. That's fine. I will face them. They will do whatever. Let's see what happens. But, this is my adventure. I've chosen it. And I've chosen to share it with others and ask others, will you step up? Will you do this? And it's all for you. Not for me. The books aren't for me. I give them away. You can have them. You can sell them. You keep the money. I don't care. Yeah. I didn't create the membership. I didn't want any of this nonsense. I'm doing it myself. I'm getting my own funding so I can give it away. Okay? But everybody else, they want the money. And that's fine. At certain things, you do that. But again, this is what I'm doing. This is my adventure. So lucky you. You got the call, Jeremy. Thank you. Was there anything else?
Yeah. Thank you, Duane, for all that. I'm gonna have to re-listen to that so I can just go through that again. That was a lot of good stuff. But no, there's just a couple more things I wanted to share. Before I had gotten that experience, that I was sort of shown that to answer this little phone call that I was getting. It's kind of funny, but yeah, this little phone call that I was getting. I was working, I was doing the physical job, I'm sitting down and I'm at my computer and like, I'm bored as heck and like whatever, and when this sensation started to come along again, I'm singing the NUUU, because I'm not like on the phone with nobody or with anybody. So then I'm just singing the NUUU. But I had this consideration when the sensation, when that buzzing sensation came in, I knew I could really see that I needed to focus on it. I knew and I could see that I needed to focus on it. There was something important happening, and I'm really glad I did. And I didn't listen to the personal self, because the personal self in the mind was trying to say, well, oh, you're working, you can't go away, because then they're going to see that you're away and they're going to question you, because they get a little funny sometimes. They question me kind of like, where are you, yeah, but sometimes I'm doing things like this. So I just say, oh, I was using the restroom, like something random, whatever. But yeah, the mind and the personal self was trying to say, oh, well, you better wait and all this stuff. And I said, well, no, because it's happening right now. So I didn't listen to that. So I just wanted to share with everybody that, sometimes these little opportunities come up, and it's kind of like you're standing at the edge of a cliff. You either leap or you don't leap, and then you can turn away and come back to it, but will it be the same kind of thing? So just wanted to share with everybody that that personal self and that mind, to try to get in the way as best it can, but yeah, you decide. So I have another experience. I don't know, Duane, you wanted to say something, or if someone else had a comment.
No, it's very good, Jeremy, because I see you as exceptional. I see everybody that steps up. Everybody gets a chance. It's like trying out for the football team. They have tryouts. They pick certain people. They have scouts that go around and pick certain people to come and try out. Do you want to try out for our team? The LA Rams or whatever it is. And so, kids are usually all excited. It's like, wow, I can be with the major leagues, the big show or whatever. And so, we're all given tryouts. And this is what I see as exceptional. And we can have the greatest abilities, but that sincere intent is very important. Intentional sincerity, IS, is very important, because that's where the Rebusar and the boys are trying to get each person to wake up and see that, just like a mother with her child. And these are the rehearsals we go through for lifetimes, is to have children and to develop that intentional sincerity with and eventually recognize what, all life is, what real love is. And we are supported by it, etc., and that we are willing to be part of it, etc., and that everyone's okay. And so, yeah, no, it's very important, I see, and this is why I try to get people constantly on the Skypes, because the personal self, and just like what you're going through, and you will constantly go through it here, because this is just how the personal self is. And Darwin and Harold, they started off sincere. I knew them. They started off sincere, but they got so wrapped up in the configuration of the organization and all the stuff, and the adoration and all this, and they just sucked that in instead of keeping their focus on what's real. And besides, actually, they didn't really see the is anyhow. They were given an opportunity. That's why they went the way they did. It's not that they failed, they just made their choice. That's it. Okay, there's no failing or success. There is just life, and there's creation. You break it down to a simplicity so that it's not too complicated with you, but for you. And within creation is the complexity. But overall, it's very simple. Once you see it, it's like a little ball you can hold in your hand. But while you're in it, it's huge, because it's the house of mirrors. And it's all okay. You simply understand that, because this is what has helped you become aware of what all life is. This is what's so cool. So while I was going through the process in Eckankar, I had a particular view, but I was going through my process. And it took a lot of years. And then when the rod of power came, doesn't mean that this or that. It's just that I was given the opportunity to take the risk, see if I could figure it out. And from there, it's taken a lot of years to really fine tune it to this point. So you being here and others is very precious. And what I see, and you decide, you, Kelsey, are a very good team, and Kevin. So everybody kind of has a position. So to keep in contact and make this work. So just like Mission Impossible. Yeah, it's an impossible mission, but it's possible. And so you have the opportunity. This is what I see. You're the kid to do this, etc. You know, yeah, I could do everything, but then what's everybody else going to do? They're going to listen to a few words and then they're going to be bored and run off. It's when you get involved, that's the fun part, and the challenge and the risk. Once you realize that that's what you want, that's what you've been looking for, the challenge and the risk. And just like you're saying, yeah, you're sitting around, you got a bored job. All jobs are boring because they're jobs for what? For nothing. But you need it to survive, so you play the game. And also just a suggestion, yes, they're going to confront you. And just like me with the bonds, I've got to have certain stories or whatever prepared, okay, as to when I'm asked certain questions, etc., true, false, or whatever, to make it sound good, look good, to get it completed. So you can tell them I went to the bathroom, or I've been taking notes, or I've been reading books on how to do better at my job, or whatever. You have these ideas. You know, just like an actor is ready to do their part, or a comedian, they've got all these skits they carry with them for whatever comes up next. So that's the idea too. Constantly rehearsing your part here, because we're all actors. That's all we are. See, we've been told we're Frank, we're Bill, we're Jeremy, we're Kelsey. No, that's not us. We're Americans, we're Russians, you know, we're Chinese, we're this or that, Mexican. No, we're none of that either. We're awareness. And we're just playing these roles. And so the group that I just wrote, People of Earth, yeah, we're just all people of Earth. And so, but we have to play this game because we have a lot of knuckleheads that are struggling to survive. They can't figure it out, so they've made all this confusion on the earth to confuse people so they can control them. So we have different countries, different languages. We got all these regulations, border patrols, whatever, because they're so afraid that they won't be able to control others because they can't control themselves. That's the world we live in. That's very real. So with this understanding, you realize that these people that seem so big and powerful and whatever, they're dumb. They've got nothing. It's all in their mind. They don't have any power. The agitation of cause and effect creation, they're trying to constantly manipulate it according to their little minds and what they want. But guess what? They can't. They can't control it. It seems as though they can, but realistically, they can't. They're struggling with it because it's always cause and effect, and it's always in flux, and it's all set up a particular way that you can't win with it. There's no way. And it looks like for a while that they have control over others. They really don't. It's all an illusion. It's all a deception. See? So again, we each deal with it because we have these impressions in our 5 bodies, because we've been through this so much, so we're carrying these impressions. And so little by little, we go through to recognize them, and at the same time, we're recognizing what's more real than what we thought was whatever it is. You see? That's the fun part. So we have the advantage. And so we have the challenge and the adventure, yes, of becoming more aware realistically, not artificially with some label like religious or spiritual or whatever, you see. And we don't need to look to authorities because it's an endless isness like the air we breathe. And it's all okay. It's better than any labeled freedom or whatever. It's just like the sun shining, pure sincerity. It's so cool. It's the heart of us. And this is what each of us is.